April 4th. Tonight, Eddie gave us a Chinese banquet here at the hotel to welcome us to Beijing. On the expense account, he said. Dad had his usual scruffy outfit, and Eddie looked very unglamorous in a brown tweed jacket and gray pants. Lao Zhu was there too. He's a great guy. As soon as he came to the hotel tonight, I asked him to teach me everything about China, especially customs and history. He laughed and said, "Okay, Shandan, I'll try my best." We went to a private banquet room on the floor. It was a little room with a huge round table covered with a white cloth. I was expecting the kind of Chinese food we got in Toronto: sweet and sour breaded chicken balls, barbecued pork, sweet and sour spare ribs, chow mein, stuff like that. Not here. As soon as we sat down, Eddie and Dad started talking business. Eddie may have been a celebrity, but he was making a crummy first impression on me. He bossed my dad around too much, giving him instructions every 5 seconds, as if Dad was his assistant or something, rather than a colleague. As far as I was concerned, without my dad, Eddie was just a voice. I tried to shut out his booming voice and talk to Lao Zhu. I asked him what was on the dishes in the center of the table. He pointed them one at a time. These are called cold dishes: sausage, chicken breast, sliced cucumber in sweet sauce, diced cucumber in hot sauce, raw chopped Chinese cabbage with dark vinegar, and dried fish. Great, I thought. What a thrill. Maybe the chicken will be okay. And what are those black things? Preserved eggs. Try one. I tried using my chopsticks, but after a few minutes of trying to pick up the jelly-like strips of preserved egg, I gave up and used the fork. I should have stuck to the chopsticks. The egg felt like glue in my mouth. The waiters and waitresses started bringing in the hot courses. Each time a dish arrived on top would be removed with a flourish, and the waiter would announce the name of it in Chinese. We got deep fried chicken and chicken balls in oyster sauce. 2 or 3 kinds of fish served on the big oval platters. Fish served with the heads and tails still on and the eyeballs staring at you, daring you to eat. Slices of duck with crisp, fatty skin. Shrimps with hot red sauce that made my eyes water. Shredded pork with green pepper and black mushrooms. Beef bits with ginger and onions. I tried it all, and I liked most of it. While we ate, Lao Zhu and I talked, or he did mostly. Turns out he's a history buff too. He told me a few legends, some of them were funny, so I could hardly eat for laughing. All through the meal, the waiters and waitresses would keep our glasses filled. I got orange pop, but 3 grown-ups had beer. Sweet red wine that Dad said tasted like syrup that you'd pour on ice cream, and in tiny glasses, wine called Mao Tai that they used for toasting everything that they could think of. After the first crack at the Mao Tai stuff, Dad switched to beer. When we started eating, I noticed that Lao Zhu took the bones out of his mouth with his chopsticks and dropped them beside his plate. It looked pretty rude until I thought about it. There was no room on the tiny plate, and unless you like the idea of tossing bones onto the floor, nowhere else to put them. It wasn't long before we had a little pile of bones in front of us, like some kind of weird sacrifice. The only dish that really threw me was some black strips of something other about 2 inches long in a sauce. I popped one in my mouth and tried to chew it, but it was like rubber without much taste. It's sea cucumber, Lao said, a delicacy. He went on to explain that the sea cucumber isn't a plant. It's a creature that swims like this. And he moved his hand in the same motion of a worm or snake would make. Then I realized he meant sea slug. I only had one piece. Just when I thought my stomach would blow up from the pressure, one of the waitresses brought in a huge platter of jiaozi, fat, steaming dumplings stuffed with ground pork, cabbage, ginger, garlic, and spices. They were great. Then soup, then ice cream, then fruit. By the time we were finished, I could hardly get out of my chair. Eddie was wobbling from too many toasts. Dad burped every few seconds. There was tons of uneaten food on the table. I said to Lao Zhu we should take it with us, like we did at home. No, he answered. That's the Chinese way. The host must always offer much more food than the guest can eat. If there isn't more than enough, he will lose face. So Shandan, whenever you go to a Chinese home, when you are finished eating and can eat no more, Always leave some food on your plate and some beverage in your glass. Don't empty your plate like you do in the West. Here, your host will always put something more on your plate to show his generosity. All that food made us sleepy. Lao Ju went home. Eddie fell into bed. Dad crashed on the couch with one of my novels, and I started writing in my journal. But I'm going to bed too. It's about 10 o'clock and dark out. 10 in the morning in Toronto. My friends will be finishing up first class French. I wonder if my body will ever get adjusted to Beijing time.